themselves. So your cloud score might dictate how much you're worth in this world. What are your thoughts on that? Who wants to go first?
I mean, cloud is the American one primarily. Peer index is the one over here.
Yeah.
I've met Azim Azar from Peer Index. He calls them opinion forms, not influences. And he's often accused of splitting hairs, but I think there is a distinction there. But the method, the means of people judging how influential someone is something that is always going to be there, I think. And someone's going to come up with a tool that helps you measure it. You've got from Edelman, tweet level and blog level, for instance. Johnny Bentwood and his team wrote algorithms galore to do this kind of thing. So you do have those. Does it not come down to really whether we as the kind of observers of these things think these are credible or not? And is that not actually the significant thing? So clout is in my opinion, I think clout is a kind of gimmicky thing with all the perks and the rewards and the stuff like the IDA thing, for instance. Peer Index started doing something like that with this kind of black card. They did a book recently, which I got one, which I haven't read yet, I must admit, which was from the author's review, things like that. Are they gimmicks? I don't know. I mean, they haven't moved hugely, but it's still early days, isn't it?
I think I've had this conversation with a few people recently because you have people that hate these things or they love these things, and I'm not sure whether they hate them because they've got a low score or they hate them because it's some morally evil thing. I think the careful thing is I found it really useful. We're hosting a developer hack day in a few weeks, and I wanted to reach out to developers. Now, okay, we could have bought a marketing list and emailed them. There's all sorts of ways. Actually, I just sat down at the weekend and I looked at developer communities within London. I looked at all the people in those developer communities who had Twitter, and then I looked by cloud score. Okay, these 3 developers, they're not just developers, but they're developers with some social capital in online. Now, I'm sure offline they have as well. And I'm happy to target them, so I'm only speaking to 1 or 2 or 3 people, rather than spamming 60 people, because that's not a nice way to use social media. So to select people with influence is fine. To prioritise people with influence, that's dangerous. So if you've got a customer service team and you want to say, okay, let's answer all the people with high cloud scores first, and leave the others to last. I read recently, be careful, it might be Robert Scoble's mum. And that's the way to remind me always, not to prioritise people based on some score. Because if Robert Scoble's mum gets bad service, she's got a low cloud score, she goes home and speaks to him, suddenly we've got 120,000 people on Twitter that realise your brand has been treating them badly. So I think you've got to be very careful how you use this. Maybe you said that. You have to be just have to be careful how you use these scores and use them in the same way as you would anything else. With some sort of intelligence behind it.
I think just to quickly add to that too, that there's something about the credibility thing. I came across a pretty neat list on Peer Index the other day of people in the PR business by the Peer Index score. Terrific, I thought. And there were a good handful of people I didn't know, most I did. But then I encountered 4 journalists on that list. Because I know they're journalists because if I click on their Twitter link and go to Twitter, it says they're a journalist. So that threw the whole list in question to my mind. That's a significant effect, I think.
That's always going to be the case when anything's algorithm-based, isn't it? So I know that market researchers have a real, they're on the hate list, I think, in terms of cloud and peer index, because it's the wrapping up of a myriad different numbers into one single number, and kind of giving you a score on that basis in a way that if you just take it at face value then and don't unpick it, then you're not really sure how that score is made up, and you can't really judge it right for right.
Absolutely, yeah. If anybody's here and saw Philip Sheldrake do his session on influence a year ago at our monitoring boot camp, and he picked apart Clout's sort of methodology live on stage. It was quite illuminating. So he's not a fan, I'll say. Good, okay, do we have any final last questions? Everyone's got questions now. On the back there.
See that you've left YouTube out of this debate?
Sorry?
You've left out YouTube with 500 users.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's written on my page.
Yeah, I was going to say actually, when Wayne was sort of saying everyone, people started sharing videos, we said, well, let's cycle YouTube.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. When I said that, I didn't mean what if they started sharing video. I meant what if there was a tool as simple as Instagram, where we could capture and edit and make beautiful, very quickly make videos. Because I appreciate we make videos at home with our camcorder and so on.
No, you do
They're not as pretty
They
though.
do your old style.
So-
You just shoot it on the camera and you upload it.
Yeah, and what I mean is that people do that, but they still don't look as pretty. And I wouldn't follow 50
That's not the point about it.
Let's go to the question.
It's all about the content really, but Instagram, we could take photos from the BlackBerry 10 years ago, but suddenly they look prettier, the tool is nicer, and now suddenly we're following random people at their photos they're taking. So that's what I'm saying. Back then I was saying,
That's not
Sorry,
the
guys,
point.
I'll interrupt you. The question's about YouTube.
Yes.
So, video, future of YouTube in terms of...
Google will add this to Google Plus, I bet you, because currently, for instance, you take a photo on your phone. I've got this enabled, but every photo I take on my phone automatically uploads to a private folder on Google Plus. And I've chosen, I said, yes, go ahead and do that. I don't have to manually think about how to upload the photo. They're always there. Video is the next natural step, it seems to me, and they have YouTube. So you can see an integration. You shoot video on your mobile device, and if you're on a nice, big, nice broadband network,
So the question at the moment, if we could, this might be contentious, I don't know, but a question if YouTube at the moment is truly a social network. It's a video sharing site where you can add comments, but the level of conversation around each asset is generally pretty full.
Well, okay, it's a pretty debased social network, but it's got users you can follow on the users, and you can subscribe to their feed. So, in that sense, yeah, it's just like Facebook, except that it's not got any of the, today I wanted to do this.
So I guess the question would be whether Google bother upgrading the social networkness of Google, of YouTube, when they've got Google Plus.
Probably don't need to. I mean, the thing about YouTube is that it's a social network where people put more effort into the creating of content and far less effort in the comments. And the thing about, say, Facebook is that people put not very much effort into the content that they create, and the comments are at about the same level. So you have this big fall between the quality of the video and YouTube, the effort goes into it, and then the comments. It's just like a cliff. Whereas it's fairly level on Facebook. And, Google Plus, yeah, you'll probably keep a fairly higher level of comments compared to the effort that goes into the video.
one thing you can do now with YouTube, with Google Hangout, is 3 of your friends or whatever number, you get together on Google Hangout and talk about a video on YouTube. So that's already in place. It's actually very, very well done. I must admit, pretty seamless. So there's a social network.
That's going to be amazing for the TV channels. So,
Isn't it?
broadcasters, yeah. So,
Sorry, how's it?
well, I had a conversation with a 15-year-old the other day. I know it's kind of hard to talk to young people, but I was really amazed by her experience of media consumption and how she and her friends were consuming television. So rather than going and watching Hollyoaks as a 4OD, for instance, which I assume that she might want to if she doesn't see it on TV, she'd watch it on YouTube because it's faster and better quality. So again, I was surprised by that. So just the thought of that, if we've got large amounts of people consuming television broadcast content on YouTube, but then and also having a two-screen experience with Twitter or whatever they're using, then if you can then combine that into an experience in Google Plus, that just seems interesting.
It's a natural move for it. Good. With 5 minutes we had on that, I'm afraid we've run over, so I'll come to the other questions in the next sessions. But a big thanks to our panel. Thank you very much. We've got another session. So, all in one row.